Welcome again to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln here inside the Lee Street Ice Center's fabulous facility here. Gotta come out and enjoy it sometime. Let's take a look at our show lineup today. We have Doug Gottlieb, former Oklahoma State University basketball star and a Fox basketball analyst, talk about the season just passed in college basketball. Focus on the Oklahoma City Thunder #1 seed, champions of the West in the NBA. And to do that, Steve McGehee. He is the longtime reporter on the site for the Thunder from Channel 9 in Oklahoma City. Ice Holders have made the ECHL playoffs. Their head coach, Rob Murray, will be here to talk about it. Oklahoma State Equestrian team, #1 in the Big 12. Talk about that with Coach Larry Sanchez. And we'll talk about the NFL draft next week. Gene Barret, NFL draftee himself with the San Francisco 49ers, talks about a very special event they have for charity coming up next Thursday, and you're invited. Let's take a look now at our Tulsa World Hot Topics. The hottest one going right now is Scottie Scheffler, #1 golfer in the world. He dominated the 88th Masters Golf Tournament, shot 11 under par in the Augusta National Course, a 4-shot victory, golf's first of 4 majors. Scheffler earned his second green jacket in just the last 3 Masters, and a record $3.6 million of the record $13 million purse. After 33 seasons, Oklahoma State's legendary Hall of Fame wrestling coach John Smith announced his retirement this week. His resume includes 490 dual match wins, 5 national championships, 23 conference titles for the Cowboys, 153 All-Americans. That's all on top of his storied wrestling career himself. That included 6 consecutive world championships, and from 87 to 92, and also 2 Olympic gold medals, 1968 and 1972. This past season was one of the Cowboys' best, a 14-1 dual meet record, second in the Big 12, and back in the top 10 in the NCAA championships. Wrestling in Gallagher, Iowa set new attendance records, and Coach Smith leaves the school with 8 starters coming back for next season. At his Monday press conference at OSU, Smith talked about his decision to step down now and about the portal.
I kind of knew going into this year, you know, that it was going to be my last year, regardless. I just wanted to make sure it was good. And maybe I'm getting softer, right? I mean, getting a little softer. You know, you got to be intense. You know, most of my mistakes as a coach is when I let my guard down, my intensity slip, or I start feeling sorry for student athletes. It usually is a bad thing, but, you know, the way the world of college athletics is right now, you better not be too intense on them. They might run off and cry. End up in the portal. Anyway, I better be careful. But it's true, and every coach out there knows it. I'll just say it because I'm leaving.
The Oklahoma State women's tennis team is having a record-breaking season. They just finished at 24-0 undefeated, including 13-0 in Big 12 play, clinching the first regular season Big 12 championship for the Cowboys women's tennis team since 2017. Next week on the show, we'll have Oklahoma State women's tennis coach Chris Young talk about their outstanding season. Tulsa's indoor professional football league team, the Oilers, matched its total wins record of all last season. They outscored Sioux Falls in Idaho last Saturday, 56-20, its second win in its first 3 games. Alex Rosario led the way with 4 touchdown catches from quarterback Daniel Smith. The Oilers are back at the BOK Center this Saturday evening, April 20th, 7:05 kickoff. It's a rematch with the Frisco Rough Riders in the second edition of the Red River Rumble. Frisco won the first game in Texas, 31-25 in overtime in the season opener back on March 22nd. FC Tulsa earned 1 point with a 1-1 draw in California in a match with the Sacramento Republic last weekend. FC Tulsa played almost 75 of the 90 minutes, though, with a man down as midfielder Edwin Lozano was sent off with a red card. FC Tulsa got the tying goal in the 64th minute, shot by defender Patrick Segrest from beyond the 18-yard box. This Saturday, FC Tulsa home match versus Charleston Battery, early 5 p.m. kickoff time. Call the Hogs. Arkansas made a bombshell hiring last week when they hired Hall of Fame Kentucky coach John Calipari, the Razorbacks' new men's head basketball coach. Cal, they're saying Cal the Hogs now, comes to Fayetteville with a 2012 national championship on his resume and 6 Final Fours. And the Hog fans went wild.
Coach, they've been waiting for you. Welcome.
I have never gotten that kind of greeting in this building. As a matter of fact, You were probably in the building when they threw me out before the game ended. Walked through. We did win that game, though, but they walked out, and you guys were throwing stuff at me then. I wasn't hearing any cheers.
How did this happen? Walk us through this.
Phew. Where's my John Tyson? He did this twice now. I need you to talk to my AD. Well, I'm in Phoenix. He's in Phoenix. What? Well, tell him to call me. I'll meet him tomorrow. You want me to talk about Canada? I didn't know what, and we met. We only met about an hour and a half, maybe less than that. Part of it was talking about other people. And he said, now that you know this, and I know you think this is a great program, why not you? Why not me? Yeah, why not you? Huh. Now, from that meeting, I left and went west. We stayed in touch a little bit. I just want everybody to know here, I didn't want anything out until after the national championship game that we were even talking, because I didn't think it was fair for those two teams and those coaches and those players and those programs. Somebody here leaked it out, though. I don't know who leaked it out, but someone did. But, Hunter, we didn't speak about it because it wasn't fair for those teams.
Doug Gottlieb is next, college basketball insider, former OSU Cowboy star, talking about the 23-24 college basketball season. That's coming up next, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice and have clinched their spot in the playoffs. The action heats up this Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's time to rally behind our team and show the league what Tulsa is made of. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Playoff tickets at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
Well, the 2023-24 college basketball season came to an end last week. And what a finish, of course. South Carolina, a perfect season for the women's championship. Two number one seeds, UConn and Purdue, meeting for the men's title. UConn winning a second championship in a row. To get more perspective on the past season, went to an old friend of ours, Doug Gottlieb, former Oklahoma State star player, now with Fox Radio. And we did it with a Zoom as he was driving on the 405 freeway in California. Here's Doug, and I asked him about the season.
It's really interesting. You know, in the college game, we had the return of the big man with Zach Edey, back-to-back National Player of the Year, and we saw him in the championship game. And then, you know, kind of the new wave of basketball and how it's been played, kind of ushered in by other people. But, you know, you got to credit Steph Curry, and Caitlin Clark became the newest Steph Curry. So, yeah, it was anytime you celebrate basketball, you watch basketball, people feel good watching basketball. If you're a basketball person, that's a win. We want to be in these silos, you know, where men's basketball, pro basketball, college basketball, like it's the same. It's maybe a different level and a different sort of way of doing the same thing, but it's the same sport. So if you can't get behind anyone's support of it, I think that you got to question your actual love for that sport.
And Doug, did you ever think you'd see a women's finals outdraw a men's finals in the NCAA tournament?
No, I didn't. But again, there's other factors that go along with it, cable versus network. But the other part to it is, this is kind of what we've been telling the men's game for a long time, which is, I get that you can come and go as you please, but it's really confusing to people when you're on one team one year and then you're on their rival team the next year.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in college football. We've seen it in women's basketball, the transfer portal is very much a part of the story. But the reason I think that people fell in love with Caitlin Clark, there's a myriad of reasons. But one is that she played at one school. And while I'm sure she could have played with more of a stacked deck, I think the fact that, she got to the finals 2 consecutive years on a more limited roster, and while really well coached, like nobody would think if you'd line up 5 on each side, you'd pick anyone else from her team. But I think, again, you have to look into where the sport is, where the college landscape is, what's happened, what's taken us here. And I think also the women need to be very careful not to walk down the road of the men, and how people become forgettable because they switch schools.
Well, the Fox analyst, Doug Gottlieb. And Doug, all season long, we heard the Big 12 was the strongest, the best conference in college basketball. They did get 8 in the NCAA tournament. But how would you rate the Big 12 of the other national conferences?
Well, the NCAA tournament, disappointing. But I think that there's a couple things that happen. One, we have a tendency to misunderstand what strongest conference in the country means. Strongest conference in the country is accurate in terms of there were 10 teams, or excuse me, this year there were 12 teams, and 8 went to the tournament. Like unbelievable league in terms of the investment, the coaches, the fan support, etc. But we only really had one that could potentially win a national title, and another one that was in the discussion, and both were without key pieces in the NCAA tournament. And that's why they lost. One of the reasons they lost. So I do think it was the strongest top to bottom conference in the country. I think challenge in the coming years, mostly for the SEC, but the Big East and the passion and the fact that it's a basketball only conference makes it a different sort of competition. But overall, it was a great year for the league. If you look at the overall success in the non-conference, which gave you those, they don't just willy-nilly hand out those NCAA tournament bids. They do so if you earn it based upon your success in the regular season, and the Big 12 had that success. So it's really easy for fans to just go, Big 12 overrated. Yeah, probably a little bit, but there's also the factor of we decide how good a year you are based upon the outcome of one game. And 2 of those top teams didn't have 2 of the best players in the country, and that's one of the reasons they lost those games.
But Doug, no OSU, no OU again in the postseason.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously super disappointing. Oklahoma State ends up firing Mike Boyden. And, I think Oklahoma, they tried to completely change their roster, and I thought they did a good job. But I think, look, everyone knows Porter can coach. Okay? The question becomes, do they have the funding and the connections to get the players they need to get? And then can his style work in the SEC? He changed a ton this year with how he played. Now going forward to the SEC, I think he's going to have to change even more. People haven't been paying attention. The SEC in basketball is the strongest offensive league in the country. When you have Rick Barnes' team scoring in the 90s, Kentucky, I think Arkansas now with John Calipari will score as well. It's become an offensive-minded league with a ton of talent. You're going to have to step up the overall talent level. And I would say that if you ask Porter, he would say it's because of, probably because of where they are in NIL and that they're trying to get football right and figure out basketball later. But the SEC it's got the highest salary cap in the country. And I'll be really interested to see what that program looks like going forward to next year.
With Doug Gottlieb, but Doug, let's reflect now back on some of your Oklahoma State career. 1997 to 2000, playing for the great coach Eddie Sutton, 2 NCAA tournaments, led the nation in assists, had quite a run in Stillwater.
It was awesome, and for me, so many things in my life started there and changed there. And, my daughters just celebrated their 18th birthday, and that all started in Stillwater. And I have one who's going to go to school there in the fall. So it was a special place and a special time. And I got to play for an incredible man and fell in love with the Sooner State really from the day that I showed up on campus. So that's the cool part. Like, I remember driving from California to Stillwater, and I stopped and took a nap, but I didn't really sleep. And from the moment I got there, I felt like home.
Well, I got to give you some credit for something else too. I never done a Zoom call with someone driving a California freeway, looking to pick up his daughters and stuff. So showed another talent there, Doug. Congratulations on that. What do you think about our Oklahoma City Thunder, by the way? They're going to be on with us next.
Oh, I can't wait. It's a question. My son is a huge Thunder fan, and he's in 8th grade. We get in debates over if Shea should be the league's MVP or not. And, anyone who follows this thing knows the playoffs are a completely different animal. And, the last time they went through one of these runs, I remember when they lost to the Lakers in the first round, and you could just see they're building something. It'll be different now because they have home court advantage with whomever they play. But what do I think of them? I think they're building a title team. I don't think it'll be this year, but it's not crazy to think that it's not that far off in the future. All they need is experience and maybe adding a veteran piece here or there. But this is where you get it's a different brand of basketball, and you'll get the true sense of where they are in the landscape. In the regular season, it's been spectacular. Now let's check out in the postseason what it looks like, because that's where all your flaws will really, really get exposed over a 7-game series against other elite teams.
Doug Gottlieb, can't thank you enough. Thank you for the memories at Oklahoma State. Great job with the network, radio and TV, and also, of course, great driving skills, too. All the best. We're going to come back to see Thunder Insider next on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay with us.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bechera's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bechera's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bechera's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
And welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Wee Street Ice Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, how about those Thunder, huh? Oklahoma City Thunder, #1 best in the West, finishing up with the best record and, of course, the #1 spot in the Western Conference Finals in the playoffs. 82-game regular season schedule came down to Sunday, and the Thunder were impressive in the victory there. And no reporter has been closer to this Thunder team all season long than the veteran sportscaster from KWTV Channel 9 in Oklahoma City, Steve McGehee. He travels with them on the road as well as all the home games. We talked with him Monday morning from his home in Oklahoma City and congratulated him on a great job of covering the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was always going to be interesting to see how far this team could go. We're still trying to figure that out right now. But they were just one win away from making the playoffs last year, and they really kicked the door in hard this year, becoming the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah, and first I'd like to congratulate Channel 9, the Griffin folks. So I understand you're the only local TV broadcaster who travels with a team, has been with every Thunder game.
Yeah, pretty much every Thunder game. I think I made 78 this year. I think I missed one road game. That was at Cleveland. That was the second game of the year because we had football obligations back in the fall, so we couldn't really do both. But I was told when we started this is my 9th season, but in year 1, the Thunder told me, like, you're the only one in the NBA at local TV station that makes an attempt to go to every home game and away game. And, that first year, I think I missed one game. It's so hard to hit them all because of travel and the back-to-backs, and there was a lot of travel issues this year. So it's difficult, but it's quite a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk about this amazing Thunder team, youngest team in the NBA. I think projected to win maybe 40 games this year, finishing up with a 57-25 record and a number 1 seed. What an accomplishment.
An incredible accomplishment, and they didn't really have any goals set. They wanted to make the playoffs. They wanted to win as many games as they could, and they accomplished that. And I think one of the reasons why they've done so well is, knock on wood here, they've avoided that big injury where a guy's missed 2, 3, 4 weeks, in a stretch. And I'm not sure if something would have happened to one of these guys that they'd have the record they have now. Chet Holmgren plays in all 82 games. That's incredible. After missing all 82 last year, he kind of had that internal belief that if available, if I'm healthy, I want to play in all 82. And Cason Wallace, their great rookie, also played in all 82 games. So that's an incredible accomplishment. Mark Daigneault, a great job with this team, a young team. They're family. They're a close-knit group. They like to bark at the end of games. And that's just good fun for this team. And Thunder fans all across Oklahoma should be excited about this team because this is just the beginning for this team. This isn't a rebuild next year. There can only go up from here on out.
And Mark Daigneault, what a job he did. The 57 wins in an 82-game season, never been done before in NBA history by a team like this. And he certainly has to be in running for NBA Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I'm a voter this year, and he has my vote. I mean, nobody expected the Thunder to be this good so soon. They probably thought they'd be maybe an 8 seed, 7 seed. This is from the national perspective, looking in before the season started. But as I said, this team had an internal belief that they could be better than that, and they certainly showed it. But he's a reason why they've done so well. He has figured out a way to connect with players in the professional ranks. And that is not easy because you're dealing with some egos out there, and there's no egos on this team. Sam Presti's done a great job of getting the right players into his program, so there's no conflict on or off the court. So credit Mark Daigneault. I think he will be the NBA Coach of the Year this season. In year number 4, I believe. Yeah.
Now, well, how about the most valuable player? In our mind, pretty obvious it has to be SGA. Shane Gilgeous-Alexander. What a season, what a player.
Yeah, what a player. It's going to be an interesting vote because you got the people out in Denver wanting Nikola Jokic, and then you got the people down in Dallas, and he came on strong late, and Luka Doncic, who led the NBA in scoring. Shea ended up finishing third, just like 0.3 of a point behind Giannis. But Shea is definitely in the strong conversation to win MVP, and he plays good defense too. He averaged 2 steals per game, so he's an all-around player. He's been a great leader, and there's no question he is the MVP for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They wouldn't be where they're at right now without his ability to put the ball in the basket, make free throws, and play good defense, and be a strong leader. Excellent
Excellent job with that. And then, of course, the big guy, too, the 7 footer after having no time all last season. Now it played every game this year.
That's unexpected. When he had that foot injury, I think it was up in Seattle, I was thinking the worst. I always think the worst, like, oh, they get the guy they wanted, the 7-footer that can shoot threes and block shots and make a difference in the paint from time to time. And then he gets hurt in a pickup game in the summer league. And so I was just I had my doubts about it, that maybe he would play 70 games this year to kind of take it easy on him. But again, it's just incredible, to stay healthy this long. And I'm sure there were some games where maybe I should sit out, but I feel okay. So let's keep going, because I know sitting and watching all 82 games last year was tough on him. A learning experience, had to be a frustrating experience as well. So he's made the best of it, and he's one of the reasons why they're also number one in the West at this moment.
Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder have not won a playoff series since back in 2016. What's different this year? What are your hopes for? Of course, as we tape Monday, we're waiting for the NBA playoffs. We're not sure who we're going to play, but I think they had a heck of a shot this year.
I thought going in, Chris, that this was their best bench they've ever had. And that's saying quite a bit, because they had some good benches. The last time they made it to the Western Conference Finals, they had Ennis Canner come off the bench and Dion Waiters, and those guys were in their prime. That was a pretty good bench. But Mark has a deep bench. He can go 10, 11, maybe 12 guys in the bench, and you don't see much of a drop-off on the court. It's just, you got Wiggins, you got Cason Wallace, you got Kenrich Williams, you got Gordon Hayward now coming over from the Charlotte Hornets. He's slowly starting to get in a rhythm, dealing with that calf injury. Really set him back a bit, but he's got a playoff experience. So they have a great bench. Jalen Williams out of Arkansas. I just mentioned some guys there that they feel comfortable playing in the playoffs.
Well, it's been a heck of a ride, and I tell you, all the Oklahoma City Thunder players always give credit and praise to the Thunder fans. They've really, again, turned out and really supported this squad.
I'm really interested to see how loud it gets, because, Chris, you were there back in Durant, Westbrook, early days, right, against the games against the Lakers and Spurs. It was deafening in there. And I think that's one thing that's dropped off a little bit since Durant left, was the crowd noise. So I am really anxious to see just if they can get back to that level, because it was deafening back in those days when they were, one seed, 2 seed, 3 seed in the West. They were strong. I think they're going to get there. These fans are excited. They're finally, it's been 5 years since they've hosted a home game in the playoffs. So it's going to be a loud crowd come this Sunday.
Any preference on who you'd like to see the Thunder start with? Everybody's saying, oh, gosh, let's avoid the Lakers, though, number one.
Well, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Like, hey, they won the first game with the Lakers, and then they lost the last 3, and they didn't look very good. But, it's a different animal now. Can the Lakers be consistent for 5 or 6 games in a row? They seems like they win a couple, then they lose a couple, and then this guy sits out, then that guy sits out. If they stay healthy, they will be difficult. But personal preference for me would be the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, of course, are the ones that knocked them out in 2016 when they were in their prime. They're hanging in there in their prime, but they're towards the end of their heyday there, and I'd like to see the Thunder knock them out completely. That would be great. That's just my personal preference.
Steve McGehee, you had a heck of a run this season, and gosh, great job. And again, congratulations to Channel 9 getting you on board with the Thunder there, and looking forward to following you and the Thunder, and let's go all the way. Congratulations.
Take care, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we're going to talk about our playoff team in hockey. The Tulsa Ice Holders made the playoffs the final day of the season, and their coach Rob Murray is on with us next, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
And we welcome Tulsa Ice Holders head coach Rob Murray. And Coach, congratulations, made the playoffs.
Thanks, Chris.
Did it on the very last day, dramatic fashion. Coach, talk about that victory. Fell behind and 4 unanswered goals. Finished strong.
I mean, in a lot of ways, we kind of brought it on ourselves throughout the last stretch of the season here, and we had multiple opportunities, a couple of wins a couple weeks ago, and would have made a difference. But then again, you can look at any year and say, what if you had this game, or what if we didn't lose that game? So, it took 72 games, but we prevailed, and now we got a chance to see what we can do in the playoffs.
You've been doing this for a while. How stressful has this last week been for you guys?
It's horrible. I don't know about the guys, but I can tell you myself. I've been in a lot of big situations as a coach, and I for one reason or another, this one kind of hit me a lot harder than others, and where, the nervousness, be it Friday night, Saturday night in Allen, and then obviously knowing that we had to win on Sunday afternoon to make the playoffs. I mean, it's just, it was very nerve-wracking, let's put it that way.
Best of 7 coming up with the Kansas City Mavericks. Give us a scouting report on them. How good is this club?
Fast, really, skilled. The majority of their players are not the majority, but the majority of the league leaders are all on Kansas City this season. Wow, yeah. I mean, they won the Bramham Cup, which is the seasonal the championship. Right. I think they only lost 12 games all year. They are from top to bottom as good a team as I've ever seen at this level. And one of the things that they've got a lot of good American League contracted guys in Kansas City, and they've done a really good job with Coachella, which is their American League affiliate, and Seattle, the NHL. But it's a really, really good team, and I mean we got our work cut out for us. We've played a couple of really good games against them. I mean we've beaten them a few times, but this is a real test for us.
Best of 7. And tell us how it's broken down. We start on their ice for the first couple of games, right?
Yeah, well, it's a 2-3-2 series. So we'll go 2 there, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday at home, Sunday at home. And I believe it's either Wednesday or Thursday at home. And that's the 2-3, and then we go back if we have to go back to Kansas City for the last 2. A lot of times it's 2-2-1-1-1 type thing. But recently, in the last couple of years that we've been doing this, I know it's more prevalent to see a 2-3-2 series, and you still maintain home ice, even though you got to go for 3 on the second leg of the series. But so that's how it's working. Kind of wish it wasn't 3 straight here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, it's pretty taxing. Yeah. And but that's. At this time of year, Chris, what happens is building availability. I mean, because you can't look forward. You can't schedule forward past basically the regular season. So then the playoffs happen upon you, and you just gotta find the dates. And sometimes especially in our building, I mean, it's a very busy building. Right. We got to go when we can.
Our first game in the playoffs is coming up this Friday. It'll be at the BOK, 7:05 p.m. Then you have a little break before you go to game 4 in Tulsa.
Yeah. So then Monday. So that'll be a give. I guess both teams a couple days of rest in between games, and then we go at it again on Monday.
If necessary, game 5 at the BOK, Thursday the 24th, and game 6 and 7, if necessary, back in Kansas City. And again, this Kansas City team, quite challenging, Coach, but how about your guys? Have they really come around, gelled, and you made some changes recently?
Well, I mean, the good news is I feel myself, I feel we're as good as we've been all year on paper.
Right.
I can't say we've played that well, as of late, but As far as our personnel go, we are as deep as we've been all year, and as good. We've got guys down from the American League now, which has really helped, and it should help more so in the playoffs. And so, I really like our team right now. I think we're from top to bottom. We're really solid. There's really no. I don't see any holes in the lineup that we're a little bit short on, and again, it's playoffs are a different animal, and I like the way our team is built right now.
At this point, for 72 games, you don't make many changes. No really strategy changes, do you?
Strategy-wise, no, because I mean, it's hard to then, kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater and start all over again and say, well, for this team now, there is strategic things that we attempt, or at least we look at to try to counteract what they do. It is a little bit of a chess match, but when it's all said and done, I mean, nobody's rewriting the book here and reinventing the wheel and finding a new way to play the game of hockey.
Again, the best of 7 playoff series, the Tulsa Oilers against Kansas City Mavericks. Starts up in Kansas City, comes back here, and get ready, you Tulsa fans, be ready to come here for the game on Friday the 19th, BOK. It's 7:05, and we'll be ready for that, right, Coach?
Yep, we'll be ready.
Hey, real quick, we were talking about college hockey. How about that Frozen Four? Some impressive kids, I thought.
I was watching a few games, and that was really good hockey. Like, I was really thinking, I've been watching that game, and I'm like, we couldn't even touch these teams. That's how good they were.
Coach, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Let's get back here and get some victories here. You other fans, get out there and support the team. And ECHL playoffs, and good to be back in the playoffs. Coach Murray's gang really deserve it. They've worked hard for it. We're going to right back with another team that's really worked hard. #1 equestrian team in all of college athletics, Oklahoma State University. That story's next.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice and have clinched their spot in the playoffs. The action heats up this Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's time to rally behind our team and show the league what Tulsa is made of. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Playoff tickets at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Congratulations, Oklahoma State Cowgirls. They just won their 4th straight Big 12 Equestrian Championship and in the program's 12th overall. Only one equestrian coach in OSU's long history of equestrian, that is Larry Sanchez. This is his 25th season. We talked with a coach from a Zoom in his office in Stillwater. A real honor to talk to the head coach of the Oklahoma State Equestrian Championship team. He is the only head coach of the OSU Equestrian they've ever known. Larry Sanchez. Larry, congratulations on a 10th Big 12 title and 25 years at OSU. Wow.
Well, thank you for that. It's doesn't seem like it's been that long. It's been definitely a labor of love and something that's just flown by through the years.
Well, to watch some of your athletes in action here, I'm going to run down some of your accolades, Coach. You came to Stillwater in 1999, talking about 2022 overall national champion, 7 NCAA national championships, 10 Big 12 championships. These numbers may be updated. 73 All-Americans, 23 individual national champions, over 150 academic All-Americans. So, Coach, that's quite a legacy.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to coach in a sport where you mentioned the academics there, and it's a sport where the majority of the girls that compete in it do well, both in the arena and in the classroom. So it doesn't require a lot on my side as far as, pushing them. They know I do value academics, so that helps a little bit, but they do very well academically. And if you recruit well, and help them where you can, you're going to get, and with enough time pass, you're going to get some awards, I guess.
Coach, that 4th straight title, 10th overall, did not come easily, though. Quite a battle with TCU. Final score was 10-9.
Yeah. Yeah, it was coming down to it. We have a tiebreaker in our sport, and we started crunching numbers as it was getting close to the end there, but we ended up not needing it, thankfully. The girls really rode well. They're peaking at the right time. So it's we had a kind of a rough fall, but like they say, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
All right. So what's the percentage? Is it the horse or is it the rider?
Let me get more specifically what you're asking in that question there.
Is it for the total scoring, looking more at the horse or at the rider itself? Who's really getting most of the points?
Well, for one, collegiately, we don't ride our own horses. We're riding horses provided by the other teams. Like at the Big 12 championships, when we competed against TCU, we had nothing but Baylor horses in our draw. I think we did have one OSU horse and one TCU horse, but the other 3 horses were from Baylor. So the girls don't know who they're going to ride. So the way it's scored is, strictly on the rider and what they do with whatever mount they're on that day in that competition.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about some of your equestrian stars there, some of your top lady riders.
Okay. A few that come to mind, one that's been consistent for us since she's been here is Riley Hogan on the jumping seat side. Riley's from Virginia. She was really good in the industry competitions as we were recruiting her. And then towards the end of her junior years, while she was still in high school, she had actually done very well in what they call their finals on the jumping seat side of things. And so she didn't even start until January, where our season starts in August. And so she opted out until January. And then she came in and worked her way into the starting lineup which is hard to do in our sport. But she did work her way in the starting lineup, went undefeated through the postseason, very good through her sophomore year, and then really continuing to do well in her junior year. Grace McReynolds is on the jumping seat side. She's a captain of ours. She's a senior, really has come into her own. She's been a starter for multiple years for us, but just her leadership and her consistency is just second to none anymore. Sid North as well. She's from the Northeast, and she's a 5th year for us. She's one of those that capitalized on that COVID extra year. And she has also been doing very, very well. On the Western side of things, we've got Claire McDowell. Claire's always been special to me in that I watched her grow up. Her dad and I went to college together, and we've remained close friends since then. And so I've watched Claire as she went through her youth career, and then I brought her out here from Colorado to ride for me. And she has just every year gotten better and better. And it's just, you just have a level of confidence every time she steps into the ring, and that she is going to handle whatever is thrown at her. I couldn't be more proud of her. And then on my reining squad, Tristan Bagby, she's from Kentucky. She's a sophomore, was really good as a freshman, but has been really consistent this year. And she's one of those quiet, in the background kind of people when she's in the barn, but you put her in the arena and she just turns into this fierce competitor.
Larry's talking about the different disciplines in your meets in your tournament to get those points. How many different disciplines are they riding in?
Well, we've got 2 disciplines. We got the jumping seat and then the Western discipline. On the jumping seat side of things, we do fences and flat, where fences is where they actually jump, like most people are usually familiar with the jumping. And then flat is done in the traditional dressage ring, but it's based more off the equitation rather than dressage. On the Western side of things, we do reining and then horsemanship. And reining has been very popular as of late because of the series Yellowstone that came out. They had a lot of reining riders and trainers that did some cameos in there, and so it's become very popular, and that's one event that we've excelled on in year after year.
Well, the next big one's coming up, of course, Thursday, April 18th to the 20th, the Nationals in Ocala, Florida, at the World Equestrian Center. I'm trying to wrap my head around the logistics. How many horses do you trailer down to Florida? How many athletes do you take with you for the championship?
Well, like the Big 12 championships, the national championships, multiple schools haul horses to Ocala, and they're put in a pool. And then those horses are drawn randomly in the different brackets that you compete in. And so in the first round, we're competing against Auburn. So there shouldn't be any Oklahoma State or Auburn horses in that bracket. And so it's whatever horses are placed in our bracket and however they're randomly drawn for the riders is how we'll compete. But to answer your question, there's 130 horses that are needed at the national championships to run it, with a number of rides that we're going to have to do throughout the weekend. And then we take our whole team. We will go half of the team, the starters and the coaches will fly out on Monday, and then on Tuesday the rest of the team will come. The horses will arrive, which we're taking 12 head this year down to Ocala, and the horses will arrive Monday afternoon. So the coaches and starters will hopefully get there in time to welcome the horse haulers there at the World Equestrian Center and get them unloaded and try and give them time to relax and rest after that 24-hour trip that they're going to be on, and then start legging them up to get ready for that weekend competition.
Larry Sanchez, congratulations on another great season. Wish you all the best on the national championships. And again, thank you for all your years of service to Oklahoma State. You're a true legend over there. Wish you all the best, Larry.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was good talking to you.
Okay, back with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene right after this.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Well, next week is the National Football League's 89th player draft, April the 25th to the 27th in the city of Detroit. 7 rounds, the 32 teams will make a total of 257 picks. You're invited to be part of it, though, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thanks to our guy, Gene Barret here with the NFL Alumni Association. Gene, welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Hey, thank you. Very happy to be here.
All right, tell us what you have planned for next Thursday night, first round, the NFL Draft.
Thursday night, April 25th at the River Spirit Casino. The casino is our master host and sponsor, and we're going to have our Oklahoma former NFL players come in, and we're going to watch the first round of the NFL Draft. We'll have over 30, probably 35 former NFL players coming in. Steve Largent will be there. Hartley Dykes is coming up. So we'll have a great group. It's not a fancy party. We just have a buffet. We have some drinks and sit around and watch the NFL Draft. The biggest part of the evening is we're going to give away $25,000 to Oklahoma high school athletic departments. That's really special. That's what we do. We raise money for Oklahoma high school athletic departments.
You've done it for several years now, raised a lot of money for different schools, both big and small schools all around the state.
Yeah, we focused on the smaller schools. Generally speaking, schools that are on the school lunch program that struggle financially. You know, unfortunately, my homeschool Jinx or Coach Blankenship's former Owasso don't usually fall in that category.
Right, sure.
But most of these schools, they just really struggle. They get their revenue from ticket sales, and if you're a smaller high school, you're not real competitive. It's very difficult. You know, one of the things that we're going to try to do is honor a former player, Kenny Blair. I don't know if you remember.
Missouri guy.
Missouri guy.
That's right.
He was always a big supporter of ours.
Yeah.
He passed away several weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Totally unexpected.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
They called him Santa Blair because he, one of the things besides being the coach is that he was Santa Claus. And
Really?
being an Afro-American, he had
that's
done
great.
his little Santa Claus thing all over the United States at Disney World, Disneyland.
Wow, I didn't know that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's, if you saw the pictures, it was just amazing, but it was such a shock. He was tragically was at a funeral and got in the car and just passed out and was gone.
Well, thank you, Kenny, and MIZ, to you and the followers of the Tigers there.
Yeah.
Got to talk about, Gene, how has the draft changed since when you were drafted? Taken in the second round, San Francisco 49ers out of the University of Tulsa, 44th player taken. It was in the second round in early 1970s. You were drafted in the 1972 draft. So big promotions, a lot of TV coverage. What happened, Jim?
It was so different. Back then, you know, the scouts would come around during the off season and they'd time you in a 40-yard dash, and then they might say 2 words to you, and that was about it. They would watch your games, watch if you played in the postseason, see how you played there. But nothing like what they do today. They analyze these guys top to bottom, and I guess kind of the humorous thing is, with all their analytics and everything they do, they still don't get it
Exactly.
right. You can't measure what's inside a guy's heart and whether he's going to show up and work real hard every day or.
I think the best example of that is, of course, Steve Largent.
Oh yeah, I mean they counted Steve out really fast down there at Houston, and so he said, "Well, I'll show you. I can still.
That's right.
I've got a few miles left in me." But.
Well, give us the details then for next Thursday night, NFL Player Association, their premier pro draft party. Everybody's invited, and good football food too. I like that too, Gene. But give them the details again.
Yeah, it starts about 6 o'clock. The draft starts at 7 o'clock. We'll have big screen TVs set up. So come out and enjoy yourself. We'll have what we call ballpark food: hamburgers, hot dogs, adult beverages. So come out and enjoy yourself, and then we'll have some raffle items, some autographed footballs, a weekend stay up at the lake. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And our good buddy Cade McFarland, Channel 2, is going to host the event
Yes,
there,
sir.
so
Yes,
enjoy
sir.
that too. We'll be out there as well. Hope you come on and join us to NFL Draft Time. Right back with our Remington Race Report after the break.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
I'm Dale Day from Remington Park. You're catching the Remington Report here on Oklahoma Sportscene.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice and have clinched their spot in the playoffs. The action heats up this Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's time to rally behind our team and show the league what Tulsa is made of. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Playoff tickets at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
The field is set for the $854,000 plus Remington Park Futurity on April 27th. Top Oklahoma-bred 2-year-olds battled through trials on April 11th and the 12th, with the fastest 5 from each night moving on to the lucrative final. Here's a look at the top qualifiers. Trainer Leonardo Alcala placed 2 runners into the futurity, including the top qualifier, Cowgirls Can Fly.
They're off. Premier Pick 4 underway. Quick start. Billy Blues Girl away sharply. Itia's Jesse right there at the rail. They hook up and go together. Farther outside, Cowgirls Can Fly. Getting a nice run on. Here comes Cool Cowboy 1, 2, 3. Cowgirls Can Fly. Flying on the outside. Rolling easily.
A filly owned by Marisol Alvarado of Jones, Oklahoma, Cowgirls Can Fly, was ridden by Francisco Calderon. Cowgirls Can Fly leads a set of 5 runners from the April 11th trial into the Remington Park Futurity. Also in from the first night, My Fancy Corona, trained by Michelle Hurdle. Cornito KO, owned, trained, and bred by Leonardo Alcala, his second qualifier to the Futurity. Apocalyptical Moon, trained by J.J. Gonzalez from the first trial of the night. And Itia's Jesse, trained by Guillermo Valdivia. Itia's Jesse sat in the 5th qualifying position on the bubble for the final 6 trials and made the final. Friday, April 12th was the second night of qualifying for the Remington Park Futurity. The top qualifier came out of race and trial number 7.
They're off. Good start. Julie Rodriguez away sharply. Fine Wine Kisses from the outside, rolling, getting the early lead. Flying Wranglers right there. Coming on now, Apolitical Sace asks for more, beginning to advance. But Flying Wrangler got the jump on everybody. It's Flying Wrangler flying on the outside by more than 2.
Flying Wrangler did just that, flying on the far outside for owners Dusty Rose Ranch of Oklahoma City. Trainer Stacy Capps, Eugenio Navarrete, the jockey, putting up the top time at 330 yards for the evening of 16.694 seconds. Other qualifiers also from an outside post in race 10, Heaven's Uncle, trained by Guillermo Valdivia, 16.752. Flirtatious Showboat won from the inside post position in race and trial 5. Clint Crawford trained 16.881. From the final trial, Jay's Freight Train, trained by Leonardo Alcala, in a time of 16.889. Jay's Freight Train out of the broodmare, multiple Remington Park Stakes winner A's and J's, gives Alcala his 3rd qualifier for the Remington Park Futurity, 2 of them by the broodmare A's and J's. The final qualifier on Friday night from race number 4, RR Eagles Path, Eric Rodriguez Garcia, the time 16.988. A reminder, Extreme Race Day is coming up quickly, Sunday, April 21st. The first race is at 4 p.m. Please plan to arrive early so you can avoid the traffic jams coming off the highways and get into the parking lot and make the first race and activity at 4 p.m. Racing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night begins at 6 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Hey, we have a Kentucky Derby horse in Tulsa to cheer for. Michael Levinson heads an ownership group with an outstanding colt named Track Phantom, running in the Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses, the first Saturday in May. We'll have him on the show next week to talk about it. Also, OU Gymnastics goes for a 4th consecutive national championship down in Fort Worth this weekend. Have a wrap-up on that. And for you folks at Wee Street Ice Center, the first big international event this coming weekend, look at this, the World Championship of Axe and Knife Throwing. On the ice, well, not the ice, I've covered the ice here, the Wee Street Ice Center. That is April the 18th to the 21st. Come down, check out the Ice Center, and enjoy some international competition. As we always remind you, always be a good sport.